When this woman finds out that her fiance is cheating on her with 2 separate women, she comes up with a cunning, meticulous plan of revenge. That night, she goes on Reddit and posts on the subreddit r/true off my chest all about what she's going to do. But what she didn't expect was for her post to go viral and her fiance to see it on the front page of Reddit. Tomorrow, I'm going to ruin his life. I've been with him for 3 years now. We plan on getting married when our lives settle down. I wanted to start a family with him. I loved him more than anyone else in this world. I've sacrificed so much for him, moved away from my home, turned down jobs so I could stay with him, and stood by his side as he started to go back to school. I gave him my world, and he cheats on me. I found out over a month ago. The scumbag got cocky, and I found out he was cheating on me with 2 different women. One is a TA at his university, the other his best friend's girlfriend. I am livid. I write this post choking back venom. I loved him so much. He was my world, but now he will be the world I burn to nothing but ash. I pay for everything since he quit his job last year to go to school. I was more than happy to help him. I make enough to support us both. The only upside is the student loans are in his name with no connection to me. It will hurt to push the scumbag out to sea, but I will survive. I've held out for a month, enough time to create what I call the day his world burns. Tomorrow we are hosting a party. I arranged for his family to come, but my family will sadly not be able to make it. I've packed everything valuable already, and the suitcase is in the back of my car. My brother will come during the event tomorrow to take the car that is in my name that the dirtbag drives to my parents' house. The joint account, which is all my money anyway, is already empty. The event will be great, and he thinks it's for us to announce our engagement to his family. What will happen in reality is I will announce my departure from his life. I've already taken a job out of state, and I've lined up a new place to live. I will start by telling everyone what he's into. The screenshots of him asking his friend's girlfriend to pee on him, and the many other fantasies his degenerate mind came up with will be passed around. I will then hand him the notice to vacate, as I've already broken our lease. We need to be out by the end of the month. I will end by informing him I've already reported he was sleeping with the TA for one of his classes the previous semester to the university, and that I'm sad I won't see the fallout from that. His friend also has a message for him that I will deliver, informing him that his friend group never wants to see him again as well. And with that, I will leave. I won't look back. I'll set his life on fire and I'll walk away. Now, a commenter below this post has said, it seems like a lot of effort to expend on someone that's not really worth your time. I'd just leave. Tape the picture to the fridge and go. But such is OP's hurt that this is what they replied. The truth hurts, more so because what you say is 100% true. He is not worth it. He is a cheating scumbag who ruined my life. The sooner I cut him off, the better. But I lost everything the night I found out he was cheating on me. A piece of me died that night. Maybe I'm terrible, but thinking of just walking away without making him lose everything that he took from me, it kills me inside. Now, that post was originally posted on the 11th of June, but just yesterday, on the 13th, we got an update. Yesterday, I was supposed to ruin his life. They say that hubris is the downfall of man. Yesterday, I planned to ruin his life in front of his entire family. I worked for a month to create the scenario that would cut him the deepest. I patiently waited for the chance to storm out of his world in a blaze of glory. And then I hit the front page of Reddit. I realized I'd screwed up when he wasn't answering my texts and hadn't shown up hours after he told me he'd be home. I'd hoped it was a happy accident, literally a car killing him before I had the chance. But no, I don't know how many men in the world are currently cheating on their soon-to-be fiance with their best friend's girlfriend and a TA. However, the one who mattered in my plan found my Reddit post. I called his mother and found out that he'd run home to his parents. He told them we had a fight and that we were probably through. I was, and still am, livid at myself. His mother asked me what had happened as he left out a few details, so I decided to tell her that he was cheating on me with a TA and his friend's girlfriend. I soon heard shouting before she hung up. I texted my ex that he had until morning to return my freaking car before I reported it stolen, and sent the screenshots of all his texts to his parents and siblings. My car was sitting in my driveway when I woke up. I I contemplated sending the screenshots anyway, but his mother sent me a heartfelt text yesterday apologizing for her son's actions, and I feel they deserve to be spared from his degenerate doings. Me and my father will be moving all my stuff today, and I won't be coming back after that. I know you'll be reading this, you cheating frick. You're a cowardly POS. Just know I am not above sending out all the screenshots if you ever dare to come back into my life. Oh, and your ex-friends all know about your pee and scat fetish. I can't control what they do with that information, so good luck with that. You know guys, for a platform as large as Reddit is, I do often wonder why I don't come across more stories where people involved find out about the original post. I mean, these stories get viewed by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people with tens of thousands of upvotes. They're so popular, it's crazy. But I do believe that that is the first story I've ever come across in over 3 years of doing this in which someone's Reddit post has ruined their plan of revenge. That is crazy. Alright, well, if you thought the first story of today's episode was a bit mad, how about this for a title? My ex lied about vaccinating our immune-compromised 8-year-old daughter. She now has chickenpox and is in the hospital. I want my ex as far away from her as possible. Me and my ex split up before our daughter's birth. There were a variety of reasons for this that I won't get into here. One of them though was her anti-science beliefs. She's an anti-vaxxer and doesn't trust science or medicine at all. Well, this sucks because our daughter was born premature and immunocompromised. We have 50-50 custody of her, but due to her condition and my wife's anti-science beliefs, we argue constantly about how to handle her. Well, recently our daughter has made incredible progress and last year was given the go-ahead to get vaccinated for certain viruses, including chickenpox and the flu. My ex went crazy about this and started making my life a living hell, and threatened up and down to take me to court. Around this time, I also got a new job that paid a considerable amount more than my old. When this happened, I decided I wanted to move my girl into a private school that has a program for immune-compromised children, and I offered to pay 100% of tuition. The only problem, for my ex at least, is that this school requires students to be fully vaccinated, up to their medically allowed limits in my daughter's case. My ex fought me up and down on this and we ended up in court. The judge agreed with me and ordered my daughter to be vaccinated. My ex had a full breakdown, but in the end agreed, only on the condition that she get to take her to lessen the emotional damage and make sure the doctor doesn't poison her. I demanded the medical forms confirming this and she agreed. So my daughter finally got vaccinated and last fall started at her awesome new school. Well, last week my daughter got incredibly sick and had to be rushed to the hospital from school. She somehow had contracted varicella, chickenpox, despite being vaccinated for it. I've been stressed out from the minute I got the call and confused as heck as to how she got it. My daughter must have picked up on this and thought I was mad at her, because when I was visiting her in the hospital, she decided to tell me the secret mummy promised to make me keep. It turns out my ex didn't vaccinate her. She made my daughter lie about it. Instead, she's been using special oils and salts to keep her from getting sick. What about the forms I got saying she was vaccinated? They're fake. I called the doctor and it turns out she never went in and he never signed any forms confirming she was vaccinated. So my ex lied and faked the forms to convince me my daughter had got vaccinated. I am fuming to say the least. My daughter is in hospital because my ex decided to let her beliefs come before our child's health. My ex doesn't know that I know yet, and I told my daughter not to tell her. I want her gone now. How on earth do I approach this to make sure my ex suffers for this? I have the form she handed me and the text from the day she took her. I also have the doctor on record saying he never signed off on these and that the ones I have are forged. I'm planning on speaking to a lawyer, but I'd like to know what to do. Thank you. Now guys, good news. We have an update. Wow, that last post got real popular it seems, for better and for worse. Seeing as you guys were interested in it, I thought I would come back with an update. Well, a lot has happened since that day. My daughter is safe with me and was let out of the hospital about a week ago. She's getting better every day. I know though, you guys want the full story, so here it is. After I made that post, I took the advice given to me, and the next time I saw my daughter, I told her that it was wrong of me to ask her to keep secrets, and that it's okay to tell her mum. Along with that, I saw a lawyer recommended to me by a trusted party. When I went to see him, he told me that this is a case lawyers salivate over, and that my ex is in a lot of trouble. I immediately filed for emergency custody of my daughter. I also got in contact with the doctor again and explained the situation fully to him. He says that while he will not be getting lawyers involved, that he wishes for me to submit the evidence to the police and file a report. Along with this, my lawyer has gotten into contact with the court that originally ordered us to vaccinate our daughter and has handed over everything I gave to him. He's advised me to stay quiet on this matter, so I'll leave it at my ex is in a lot of trouble with them. During this time, my ex started to get suspicious. Maybe it was because a friend told her about a post on Reddit and she freaked out, who knows? A few days later, when I saw her at the hospital, we had an altercation. She became hysterical and yelled various threats and insults at me, including telling me that I want to poison our daughter right in front of our sick child. She was escorted out of the building and the head nurse has banned her from coming back. After this, she sent me a barrage of texts telling me that I'm a monster and that if she had vaccinated her, that she'd be dead by now. This was sent to my lawyer. As he puts it, she's what lawyers dream of when they hear who's on the other side of the court. Outside of this, I've been advised to stay as quiet as possible, so I'll leave it with this. This week, I received emergency custody of my daughter until our custody hearing later this year. I've heard that the DA is slowly getting ready to move forward with a multitude of charges against my ex, and that will land her in jail soonish. And that's really it for now. I'm going to follow the advice given by my lawyer and say nothing else to anyone. I don't want the media involved in this for a few reasons, so I've left this as vague as possible. When this is all said and done, if the interest is still there, I may come back again. But for now, thanks for the advice in the original thread. Me and my daughter appreciate you. And guys, unfortunately, that is where we're up to in this story. That's all I've got for you. You actually bought that, didn't you? For a split second. Did you think that I'd do that to you? Of course not. I would never. Here it is then. 3 years after that update. It's the second update, the one we've all been waiting for, which clears up everything. Hello again, everyone out there. 3 years ago, I made a post about how my ex lied about vaccinating our daughter. Soon after, I gave an update and disappeared over the horizon. I had completely forgotten about making that post, as the last few years dealing with a global pandemic and an immunocompromised daughter have aged me 3 decades. But I saw a post recently talking about my own posts and it came back like a ton of bricks. After wrestling to get back into this account, here I am. I hope you're all still interested in an update. Well, to give the short answer first, I have full custody of my daughter and my ex is barred from having any contact with her. The long answer, my court battle between my ex and me was a grueling process, one of the worst periods of my life. It took over 5 months from the time I got emergency custody to get full custody of my daughter. In retrospect, those 5 months were not as long as they felt, but they felt like the longest months of my life at that point. My ex's harassment at that time got worse, even coming to my house and attempting to force herself in to take our daughter. She was arrested for this and charged with attempted forced entry. Before she could bail herself out, the DA decided to throw the book at her for forging medical documents. She ended up spending a month in jail for this, which unfortunately got our custody case continued. The upside of this was I was given a protective order for me and my daughter, one that bit her in the butt when we finally got in front of a judge. I was given full custody of my daughter. My ex and her lawyer annoyed the judge by trying to claim that I'd planned this all from the start, forcing her into a corner to vaccinate our daughter so I could use her response to initiate the custody battle. Her actions, her upcoming hearing for committing felony forgery and forced entry, along with the protective order, convinced the judge that my ex was more than a danger to our daughter. She lost all custodial rights and as of now is not legally allowed to contact her in any form. My protective order was extended by 2 years as well, but I didn't need it as it was only a few months later that she went to prison. My ex pleaded out. They dropped the forced entry charge and she only got 2 years in prison for the forgery, but was still hit with the felony. She was released early due to COVID though. Since then, luckily, I've had no contact with my ex outside of getting the child support I am owed. I'm not really inclined to keep tabs on her personal life, but I know that she went off the conspiracy deep end. She is now a full QAnon supporter and dating someone who was involved in the January 6th intersection. Other than that, she's disappeared from my daughter's life entirely. As for me and my daughter, the past few years have been a living nightmare. We moved to a new state and I had to put her into fully online schooling. But our lives are great, and amazingly, my daughter was able to get the COVID vaccine only a month ago and is clear to go to physical school once the summer ends. This saga of my life has taught me so many things. I'm grateful every day to have my daughter with me, safe and in a place where she can slowly grow and get healthier. It's kind of touching that so many people are interested after all this time in a normal guy like me and my daughter. I genuinely hope this is the last update I have to make. Thank you for your interest and see you all over the next horizon. And there we go, 3 years on from the original post, we have a fantastic update, but wow. Did that not take a while? I can only imagine the stress and just anger that you were going through every day, OP. Having to look after an immunocompromised daughter in the first place is tough. But then having your ex be like this at the same time? Jesus, somebody call a doctor. Well, call a doctor and actually go and don't forge your documents this time. Yeah, sweet.